All right, we are up. We go live down here on the old Facebook, and we will be set to go. All right, let's see here. All right, we're up. Good deal. Very pleased with yesterday how the live stream on LTE worked out. So that might be a little saving grace. I think it's working better than the internet. So got Facebook down here on the Wi-Fi. I should probably direct connect, shouldn't I? Yes, we should. Again, no guarantees kids don't come barging in. That's what they do. I think I locked the door today, which doesn't mean they'll probably pound on it. All right, happy Tuesday. It is February 12th. Thank you for joining Guy Talk, and let's get into it. Go quickly over some scores from last night in the NBA. We had Pacers having a decent season. Pacers up over the Hornets 99-90. Pistons beat the Wizards. I can't believe how bad the Wizards had fallen from grace, man. Got 2 years ago, they were top of the heap in the East. 121-112. Leading scorer was Beal in that one, and Drummond for Detroit. Raptors over the Nets. Raptors are another team that's having an excellent season. And Thunder beat out the Trailblazers with Lillard and Paul George put up 47. So hell of a day for Paul George with 12 rebounds and 10 assists. So nice triple-double from him. A really nice triple-double, actually. Harden had another 30-point game in their victory over the Mavs. What's that, 30 straight games with 30 or more points? That's got to be the longest in history, right? I would have to Google that one. Bucks continue their domination in the East as well with a win over the Reeling Bulls. 13-44 for the Bulls now on the season. That is garbage. Wow, that's another team. I don't know what happened to the Bulls, man. They just fell apart a couple years ago. They need to rebuild that and do it quick. I have to look at what kind of draft stock they have coming up. See if they have any decent opportunities to pick up some Kentucky players, right? Duke, actually. You get Duke and Kentucky running loads of good freshmen. And then the Nuggets continue to play well, and they beat the Heat. No big scores in that game to talk about here. Williams put up 45 in the Clippers' loss over the Timberwolves. And then the Garbage Bowl, the Knicks and the Cavs. The Cavs edging them out 107-104. The Knicks and the Cavs have a combined total of 22 wins. When are the Knicks going to get their stuff together? At what point do we just stop talking about them? What's it been since they've won a round in the playoffs? How many years? I'll Google that. Last time Knicks won a playoff series. It's not giving me a great answer here. I don't know. It's not giving me a good answer. Sorry, guys. They're atrocious. It's sad. Very sad. Sooner or later, they need to, I don't know if they need to gut. I feel like they've already gutted upper management a couple times, and it didn't do anything. But it's freaking Madison Square Garden, man. It's the most famous basketball arena of all time. And they can't put together, you've got the, teams like the Bucks and the Raptors playing, in the 76ers, what's the excuse? I don't see that there is one there. They got to get it together, man. This is sad. It's real sad. Oh, gosh. All right, moving on here. What else we got going on today here, guys? I'm in the middle of trading at the same time, so I got this other screen pulled up. Bitcoin looked like it was going to take a dive last night. Did not. Somebody was holding it up. I don't know who it was, but somebody's holding that bad boy up last night. It wicked down for a second, and now it's rebounding pretty well. So, we'll see how this plays out. But I don't trust it at all. If we do explode here, we're gonna go parabolic because we're on a, and by parabolic I mean like from 36.50 up to, probably testing 42, 44, which is, it's a good rise. But I wouldn't. We're on a downward trend line. So we have to bust through that trend line. We're bumping up against it right now. So right now we could reject hard while I'm live here. That's what it likes to do, is curve up into that downward trend line, take a shit. At least that's what it's been doing since we haven't been in a bull market in quite some time. So a news article that caught my mind, and I want your guys' opinion on it, is there's a school, and where was it? Here it is. So this is back in my old neck of the woods. So south of Tampa, in Manatee School of Arts, they hired a retired combat veteran, and Harold Verdesia, if I'm not butchering his last name there. They hired him basically to, his one job is to ensure that they don't have a mass shooting, that actually occurs. That his job is to put down the target, as quickly as possible. And then he's actually going to be hiring somebody else who will be at the front of the school and maybe a little welcome / guard booth there. So to me, this is what I've been saying all along, is why would you not do this? It only makes sense to do this. We have all these different scenarios where, parents don't want their kids to, see somebody with an assault rifle, which is a poor terminology. I'm going to change that right now. It's not an assault rifle because it could just be a defense rifle, right? It's not committing an assault. But semi-automatic rifle, and the parents don't want their kids to be exposed to that. It's like, as parents, what the hell do you think your kids are watching every single day? Whether it's video games, whether it's movies, whether it's the news. I mean, everyone's pretty well, it's not like, oh my gosh, what's this thing? It's not the 70s. This is the age of the internet. These kids are exposed to so much at such a young age. To me, my philosophy is why would you want your child to associate a semi-automatic weapon, or just firearms in general, with someone who is doing a bad deed? If they're, a murderer, or someone who's assaulting somebody, or a mass shooter, or whatever it is, why do you want that to be the association your son or daughter has with firearms? Even if they don't ever want to have anything to do with firearms, rather than having an association where you say, this really nice guy who is, upstanding citizen, is a very responsible and, looked up to individual in the community who is protecting the kids, is using that firearm for protecting the herd, so to speak. And kids see that and they say, okay, well, it's not just evil people that carry firearms. I mean, it's that same hurdle, right, with that cops run into quite a bit of time, especially when you have, really good cops, which most of them are. That, all of a sudden it's like this evil object. Well, an object is not evil. It's just like if a kid had a negative association or a positive association with a set of kitchen knives. If that kid's mother or father, let's say their father attacks their mother with that kitchen knife, and now their father's in prison for the rest of their life and their mother's deceased, now they have a negative association with the kitchen knife. It's not the kitchen knife's fault, right? Or maybe their mother is a culinary arts professional and they learn to have a passion for kitchenwares in general, especially, the art of making gourmet meals, and they have a fascination with kitchen knives. Same exact object used for something different. One is for good, one was for an evil act, and you want people to have positive associations with things. You don't want them to just have these negative experiences, because then if someone just has this sheltered negative experience with something, it never allows them to actually critically think about, that whole realm. Like, they'll just avoid it, like it's the plague or something. They're just going to avoid it. They're never even going to, think about it in depth whatsoever. And that could be with, any facet of life. Is if you build a positive association, now all of a sudden this young man or woman is looking at this guy saying, okay, I get it. I understand it now. It's not the objects that are evil. It's those who are behind the objects that are doing the evil deed. And so it makes for a much more realistic balance where things aren't so emotional. They don't trigger this emotional response. They trigger a reasonable response that can then be process through and allow that person to make their own decision one way or another. So, that's my thought on it. I've always said that if you don't want mass shootings in school, we have so much waste in every public school system and private school system, but more so in public. You hire this guy. This guy's making $50,000 a year. Yeah, he's basically getting paid like a teacher. So it's just like if you took on another teacher on your staff. He's 5-star dude, and everybody feels more secure. I know if I was sending my kid to a dance and I couldn't make it, I had to work or something like that, and I knew that so-and-so was there and they were armed and they were making sure that, there wasn't any riffraff getting in to this dance, I'm going to feel much better than not. Because, we've all seen those situations. Some of us have been near those kind of situations. And to me, guns will never go anywhere. They're not going anywhere ever under any circumstances. So people can, kind of got to get over that. The only thing that happens when you have a lot of gun legislation is, you have good people who all of a sudden are either treated like criminals or they just don't go through the process because, it's either not worth it to them or they get vindicated just because they want to have the ability to protect them and others. And then the criminals do the same shit they always do. They're going to go get a gun. That's what criminals do. They don't obey any of these laws or regulations whatsoever. So, let me know what you guys think on that. To me, this is kind of just basically common sense to have this. We had this big ass dude who, this was before like all the crazy social media and news stories of the mass shootings. We had this big dude in high school, and the dude could bench press a house, wore a bulletproof vest, talked to all the kids, hung out, walked around the lunchroom. Guy was awesome. And he was quick to make sure that no fights escalated or anything like that. He was never overly aggressive. He was never rude or abrasive. He was nicer than the principals, for sure. But he had a purpose, and he was there, and he did it well. And I'm pretty sure at all these after-school events, and during school hours, everybody felt better about having him there because, it's that extra layer of security in a building with a bunch of immature emotions flying around everywhere. So to me, that's awesome. Hats off to this principal for thinking outside the box, which isn't really thinking outside the box, but he seems to be one of the few who's actually implementing a strategy, because this guy goes in detail about how he has, gone through a mass shooting scenario. That's like a principal's worst nightmare, right? Is to somehow feel responsible because you didn't take the measures necessary to protect the young people that you're overseeing. And he thought about this in great depth and came to this conclusion. And he's got like other superintendents and stuff that are like giving him crap about it, and I think that's just absurd, especially down in Florida, man. Down in Florida, give me a platoon. I don't care. There's freaking crazy people down in Florida. There's crazy people everywhere, but I lived in Florida for, 5 years? There's a lot of crazy down there. Oh, man, look at that. It wanted to run. Here comes a rejection. Let me get out of this trade, boys and girls. I do not like it. I don't like that fat wick we just got. That fat wick up against the trend line tends to lead to a reversal. Oh, what else I was going to talk about this morning? Sorry, dudes, I wasn't planning on this happening right as I was doing this, but we are going to vacate this decision. Too much risk here. Piece, that's sold. And we're going to piece out on this one. Just on the topic of crypto is everybody's going to be using some form of this in the next 5 to 10 years. The problem is it was getting ahead of the establishment banks, and they can't have that. So just keep in the back of your mind, I'm certainly not giving any kind of investment advice whatsoever. Not in a position to do that. But keep in mind that you should educate yourself on how all of it works anyway, especially if you're a young person. because it's going to be your money in some way, shape, or form. Not saying a specific coin is going to be your money, but this kind of technology will be your money sooner or later. So you might as well get educated on it. If I was a young person and I was thinking, trying to decide whether I'm going to get, more education or, go to college or university, I would do nothing but become the best IT blockchain engineer you can possibly become. I mean, in outside of being some kind of thinking outside the box entrepreneur, the most secure and highest paying job you can get the fastest is becoming a blockchain engineer. There is one position being filled to every 50 to 100 jobs that are opening. If you have prolific knowledge in that field and you can go, let's say you have 2 years of experience under your belt, by your third year, you're gonna be making $150,000 a year. Like, no bullshit. So parents, stop telling your kids to be doctors and lawyers, because it's not the frickin' 90s anymore. Get out there and teach and make sure they know everything IT. It's just the world we live in, especially when it comes to any kind of IT engineers, blockchain being the top of the heap right now. Just because there is so much demand and it will take a decade to fill that demand. So if you're a young person or you are a parent to a young person, get them prepared for that, because by the time they're 30, they could be making $200,000 a year and enjoying what they do and being on the forefront of an innovative part of our society going forward. So, that's my thoughts on blockchain while I sit here and fiddle with my trading account here. I appreciate you guys checking all this out and coming on with me. Like I said, working on the schedule. My wife just released her schedule for her channel yesterday or last night, so now I can work on mine, see what is realistic for me to get in here and speak to you guys about every single day, hopefully. I don't want to come on here and just ramble too much, so I want to be targeted, and if I have a schedule out, you guys will know what's coming up. I'll be more prepared for it, and we can go forward from there. Oh, there was one more thing for all you NBA fans out there. Chris Bosh is retiring March 26th. So if you're a Chris Bosh fan, like I said, I was a Heat fan because of Dwayne Wade. So that was, it's time. He's had so many injuries. He had I think was it a heart or a kidney problem? Can't remember. But yeah, he was having some kind of shortness of breath or misfiring heart valves or something. And you never want to see that, somebody possibly just collapse. And he's getting old, man. It's time for him to pack up here. But great career, super nice guy. So hats off to him for what he's done and continues to do. And I'm an idiot. I should have gotten into this earlier. So now I'm chasing goats now. Don't chase, Ben. Don't chase. So that's it for today, guys. Actually, that's just it for right now. I'm probably going to put something else out there today. I got a review video coming out as well on my channel. I need to figure out how to boost these lives to get them out to more people. So, especially on YouTube, I've been spending way more time on Facebook trying to get things out, and I haven't spent as much time on YouTube. All these funky algorithms, you have to learn how they work. So, that's definitely a challenge for sure, but I'm absorbing it. Keep plugging away, and thank you all, and I will see you. It is Tony Robbins Tuesday. So what does that mean? That means either go to my page, click on the video I posted, or get your butt onto YouTube, and if you don't know who Tony Robbins is, learn who he is and listen to his shit. Fantastic. And do it on a regular basis, because maybe it'll help you with that motivation you need. We all need somebody to push us a little bit. Very few people are disciplined enough on their own without outside motivation to get all the stuff done they want to do or get to where they want to be. All right, we're at 20 minutes, so I'm going to peace out. Thank you. See you later. And